Listener questions.
What's
or
our
even
topic?
just disclose over halfway through the show what the topic is this week. We actually have a couple of questions at the end here because I went onto Twitter this afternoon and said, look, we're a little bit light on questions this week. Can you just let us have a few? We've got some smart-ass listeners.
I know, I saw
Simon
these.
Lynn, will you even get this far in the questions after all your random Dream Team babble? Whittip, does it really matter? The first 45 minutes of each episode is random, unrelated nonsense anyway. How dare you, sir? Because I'll have you know, we're only 30 minutes and 22 seconds into this show, and here we are, topic, technology. There you go. That's how the pros do it, sheepdog. And I'm going to get straight into some listener questions. I didn't realise when we did this topic, it's not long since we did gadgets or inventions or whatever it is,
I
isn't
thought
it?
this.
It's very similar, isn't it?
Yep.
Some smart asses have been pointing that out on Twitter as well.
Well, I wondered about this because I made the big thing about, I really wanted to invent force fields, didn't I?
You did.
But I'm guessing because that was all stuff we want to be invented. This is all stuff that's already existing.
You'd think.
Yeah.
Have you read the questions?
No.
Right, the Woolster on Twitter. Phones have gone from being basic to a necessity, in brackets, smartphone. What would the next evolution of the phone be?
Glasses.
Yeah, someone actually else has said later on about Google Glasses. Synaptic Flare it was. Google Glass, yay or nay?
Now, I think, as they stand, nay, but it's only this far away from someone like Specsavers getting involved.
His arms were miles apart.
No, it was like millimetres away.
Okay.
Someone like Specsavers or any kind of other companies are available type thing, just saying, oh, wait, Google, let's collaborate here. We'll sell them for like 200 quid a pop, 250 quid a pop. I'm looking forward to the point when NHS specs have got a bloody Google Glass in them because that's the way the future is. I think, though, that won't last that long because they've already got chips. I did a thing about it at uni. I did a presentation about chips you put in your brain, didn't I? Remember that?
What a shock. Fat lad does presentation about chips.
But yeah, computer chips that you implant in your brain, and they work on... They can basically read...
Can they stop you opening your eyes under the water in the sea?
They could probably put in some kind of override. Stupidity overrides for me. But the only problem with that, as of 4 years ago when I did the presentation, was that the slight bit of heat it gave out caused mice to grow tumours. So they were trying to find a way to completely eradicate the heat.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
They probably would have done that by now, though, because they'd figured out ways to do it, and they were just working on it 4 years ago. So I imagine that's probably at a point now where I haven't looked it up. I probably could have done if I'd thought about it, but that only just popped into my head then.
Smacks of research, that.
Yeah,
that wouldn't
I
sit
hadn't
well with me.
read the questions, so it's not.
I
even
sent
about
you the
research.
questions about 11 o'clock this morning.
Did you really? I got an email from you this afternoon saying running orders, but I didn't bother reading it.
That wasn't this afternoon, that was about 11 o'clock this morning.
My phone's been playing it. That's another problem about coming home from holiday, that 3 just decided to cancel my bloody contract or something on the way home. I was in England.
Why?
And it just suddenly all cut out and wouldn't acknowledge that I could go on the internet or anything, and then I had to ring them up and get that sorted out. Well, that was odd, because all they told me to do was re-register on the network, but I'd done that like 4 times, it hadn't worked. I reckon he was tapping away their end, fixing it. While I just did what I'd already done. But yeah, so I reckon it'll go glasses, then it'll be in your head.
Nice.
Basically getting closer to the centre of your brain from your arm, your hand, the wall, your hand.
So the next logical step is for it to be strapped around your arm. Well, people do that when they go jogging, don't they? They strap their phones to their arm. They're the technology evangelists, aren't they?
Yeah, and then glasses... Probably middle of your head, just attached to your ear, one of those ones.
Next step, already happened in the 80s, was when you hold the phone between your shoulder and the side of your face. They were on the cutting edge, and then it moves into the glasses. Bluetooth headset, lorry drivers are there.
They've got those things you can put... They're basically contact lenses, isn't they? They'll probably go glasses, contact lens, in-eye thing, because there's a hole there that you see through. Just stick it in there.
Why not?
In your ear, maybe. And then they'll do
it's
fully
already
in your brain. Well, I don't really see how that could really kick off. In this thing.
I want it to get to the point where I can just pull out the antenna off the end of my thumb, Inspector Gadget style, and just talk into my hand and pretend it's a phone, and that actually work. Once that happens, I'll be well happy. That's all I really want from a phone. I don't need all this newfangled gadgetry in it. I only use it for texting and going on the internet. I can do all that using my hand. I just want a phone that's my hand.
I'm going to just quickly Google this to make sure I didn't dream it, but I'm pretty sure that they recently figured out a way to take a head and make it work without a body.
What?
That they reckon they'll be able
What,
to...
a human head?
Yes. Human head transplants now possible, Italian neuroscientist says, on the 6th of July. I did read that recently.
So does that mean if I get any kind of serious body injury, they can just lop it off and I'll survive.
Well, yeah, they was basically saying, like, in theory, soon they've figured out all the different things that you need to do, blah blah blah, and they reckon they'd be able to keep a head alive in a jar.
So Futurama is going to happen.
Yeah, pretty much. So
We're
there's
all
another
gonna
bit of
live
technology
forever.
there for you. But isn't that mad? Because that is the point we're at now, where I've told you about this one before, but there's this technology at the moment where they can take all your blood out of your body and replace it with this basic chemical that freezes you completely in a stasis. And that means that if you were shot in battle in the army or stabbed or
Not
something like
likely
that,
I'll get shot in
if
battle.
someone knifed you in the street and a paramedic got there within like 6 or 7 minutes or whatever, which ain't likely here really, but they could suck out all your blood, put this stuff in, they'd take you to hospital, leave you on the side for a bit while they sorted everyone else out, and then just open you up. Oh, there's the knife wound. Stitch that up a bit, sort you all out, make sure there's nothing wrong there, and then just take out all the chemical and put the blood back in. And they've done that on loads of animals and dogs and stuff, and it's all worked fine. None of them have had brain damage. I think they were doing trials on humans with it. I saw a program where a guy had an aneurysm that was about to burst at any second in his brain, and they called him right. They didn't put their stuff in him, but they called him right down to like whatever degree, and that meant that his heart beat once every half an hour, and they were able to just open his head up, stitch him up, close his head up within like 20 minutes. And yeah, so technology is pretty mental. We could in theory live forever if that becomes next 10 years.
So this
20 years.
podcast will just go on forever. All we need is our heads to do this. We'll be fine.
That's it.
This podcast will still be going in 1,000
Unlike
years.
those suckers footballers who as they get a bit older, they can't do anything except head the ball. All those runners and athletes,
in your face, jocks. There we go. The nerds win out long term.
How did I get to that from phones? Yeah,
I don't know how you do anything that you do. Jack Arrowsmith on Twitter wants to know what's the worst gadget you've ever owned/used.
See, I'm quite cynical. I'll look at something and I think if I'm not going to use that more than once a day, I'm not going to buy it.
I'll buy
Really.
everything.
Yeah, I think this is
I
more
buy
of you.
everything, but I love it all. I can't think of anything I've ever bought that hasn't been incredible. I'm just looking around now to try and find a piece of technology that I own that doesn't fascinate me. They just blow my mind.
Well, I don't own as many gadgets as you, but I still own gadgets. And it is all things like, I am really annoying that I'll get, like, say, birthday money or something, and I'll wander around thinking, well, there's nothing here that will change my life forever. And then every now and again I'll get something that will. And so everything I've got becomes an instant part of my everyday. I mean, the worst thing I've brought in recent times is I brought a bloody Raspberry Pi, and I've used it for nothing.
I just looked over at my Raspberry Pi and thought it could be you. But then I was reading an article in the newspaper today, and there's loads of cool stuff you can do with it if you can be arsed.
Yeah, well, this is the problem. That's what suckered me into buying it. They said all these things, and the fact that I've got to teach it. So I thought, well, I might as well get one and learn how to use it. But no, it's just there. And I've not even put it on. Have you even used yours once?
Yeah, I turned it on, had a little look, had a play around at a bit of simple coding on it, made a magic 8-ball, and then turned it off.
I've not even done that. Because the problem I had with mine, the idiot sent it to me, told me that they'd run out of cables to power it with, so they weren't going
Just
to
use a
send me
mobile
one.
phone cable.
Well, they said all of this, blah, blah, blah. I assumed I was getting some kind of plug that would come through with it and whatnot, and then it turned out I had the plug already, but I'd waited a good 2-3 weeks. They hadn't told me what it was I was waiting for. They just said you're waiting for a part you need. So I didn't bother looking. I just stuck the stuff aside. Then she was, oh, actually, we did send you it. What are you moaning about? You've had it a week. I said, well, I haven't looked in the box. You told me you was missing a part. I thought there's no point.
Brilliant.
So I've never used it because I ran out of momentum. I really wanted it when it arrived, but
Did you get a shiny little see-through case like mine?
Yep, of course I did. Everyone wants to see it
What
work.
a ball ache it was getting it in there. Have you put it in the case yet?
Mine was in the case already.
Oh, no, mine was in a little cardboard sleeve and I had to put it in the case myself. That bloody thing didn't want to fit on properly, arsehole. Getting back to the worst gadget I've ever owned, though. It wasn't the worst one I've ever used, but it's the most pointless one I've ever owned. And Anna found it when she was going through the cutlery drawer the other day. And I had to explain what it was and why I had it. And I could do the first part of that. I could not explain why I own it, though. And basically what it is, it's a little bit of plastic, about yay big. 2 inches, I'm showing him there. And it's
Bye,
basically,
Anna's listening.
it's basically a little tube. It's a little plastic tube with a little cone halfway along it, and like a little bit of a screw thread on it. But it's hollow, a hollow tube.
Yeah.
What you do with this is you get an orange, you screw it into the orange, and then put it in your mouth and squeeze the orange juice out of an orange.
I can't imagine how you were suckered into buying it. The salesman just screwing this orange and holding it over your mouth.
Quite simple.
Wrap your lips around that, mate. And
You said you like orange juice? Yes, I do like orange juice. And that was about it. He said I didn't need to, no need to worry about cartons anymore. This is environmentally friendly. Just buy a bag of oranges, stick your little straw in it. Buy one each for the kids. Stick it in their lunchbox every day. They don't need to take a drink anymore. They don't need fruit. 2 birds with 1 stone. Did you know there's not a lot of juice in an orange? And did you know oranges are quite expensive? They're a lot more than a carton of orange juice. A carton of orange juice, which you can buy 3 cartons of Tesco value orange juice for about 40p, and each one of those cartons has the equivalent of about 20 oranges, which if you were to buy those oranges separately would cost you about 18 quid.
Jesus, you were
Plus, one other design flaw in this. Did you know the juice in oranges all is in little segments separated by a membrane that the juice can't pass through?
I did know that, yes.
I hadn't thought of that when this crook was selling me a stupid orange straw.
Jesus.
If you get it in just the right spot, you can sort of get it so it intersects all the segments. But
So you've reminded me, my dad spent... Well, actually, he got it for a birthday present.
it was a bargain, though. It was only £90.
90. I was going to say, it was a piece of plastic. You scared the crap out of me then. You are mental. My dad spent about 80 quid on a juicer, though. A proper electrical one. Got it for his birthday. He really excited, opened it, stuck it in a shelf. It's been about 15 years, and I think it's still there. He's never used it.
I'll have it.
I want it. I said to him, can I have your juicer? And he went, no, that's a birthday present. I'm like, yeah, but you haven't used it in 15 years. I might have to go. I'm going down there next week. I was there yesterday, but I didn't think of it. Next time I go down there, next week or the week after, I'm going to nick it.
Something else that came with my orange straw thing, it was a 2-pack. The other thing, this one I have used, and it is incredible. It's a cucumber peeler.
Okay, is that one of those things you push down?
No. This is basically a blade with a pin on the end. And you cut the end off a cucumber, poke the pin in, and then just turn the blade round. And it just does you a really long, twirly piece of cucumber.
Okay.
You wouldn't want a long, twirly piece of cucumber, but I can have one whenever the hell I want.
Have you ever used either of them since you got them?
I've not used the cucumber thing. I think it was for cucumber. It's the only fruit I can possibly imagine you'd use it on.
You did show me that string thing with a banana, didn't you? That was you that showed me that, wasn't it?
I didn't show you it. I told you about it.
Told me about
I haven't got the time to actually do that.
Yeah, but if someone had offered you a piece of wire for 9 quid, you'd have taken it.
Oh, yeah.
The banana peeling wire.
I'm going to skip ahead a couple of questions. We're talking about a juicer and juice. Good old Johnny part-timer. He raises issues. It's like that Inventions podcast, or what? Yeah, it is quite like that Inventions podcast. Thanks for pointing that out. What bit of tech is most dear to your hearts, SodaStream or iPhone? So I think he's narrowing us down to just those two, because he says he's just got a SodaStream and it's fucking great. And actually, we went on to have quite a long chat on Twitter about SodaStreams. Apparently, you can put any liquid you want in them. You can put milk in it and have fizzy milk. I said to him, eggnog. Fizzy eggnog at Nogfest this year. That's what we're having.
Could call it Fegnog.
Don't see why not.
I've never owned one.
I've got one in the garage. I've never used it. It's like your dad's juicer. We could swap. If he ever gets bored of having a juicer he doesn't use, I'll swap it for a SodaStream that's never been used, and we'll just swap them around.
When
cupboards.
I was a kid, there were 2 things I wanted more than anything, and there were 3 things, because Turtle Blimp, everyone wanted that. But I always wanted a bloody SodaStream and a Mr. Frosty drinks maker. Now, my parents, bless them, got me a Mr. Frosty, but it's a Mr. Frosty ice maker, not a Mr. Frosty drink maker. They'll never be able to repair the damage they've done to my mind with that.
Are they not one and the same?
No.
What's the Mr. Frosty drinks maker then?
I don't really know.
Isn't that just ice with flavourings poured over
All I'm
it?
thinking is the advert was different, so I didn't have the imagination.
The only
to
difference
use it.
between the two was you're supposed to pour a flavouring over the ice.
Yeah, but the drinks maker came with the flavourings. The ice maker just came with an ice grinder.
If you'd have had an orange squeezer,
biscuits. I used to grind biscuits up in it and put it on Angel Delight. It was brilliant. To be fair, so I'd say they damaged me, but only when I opened.
If you'd have ground up custard creams, you'd have got two-tone
everything.
texture.
All biscuits went in that.
Nice. What, even Garibaldi's?
Everything.
Because they don't really crush, they sort of mush rather than
you
crush.
smash his hat down and crush stuff while you grind it through the grinder, and then you eat the powdery goodness. But anyway, Soda Stream, I wanted one for years because I'd been told you can put anything you want in there and make it fizzy. And
What happens if you put Coke in it?
I was just going to say, I always wondered if you
Extra fizzy Coke.